The meeting of the WSESD on June 23rd will come to order. This meeting is a hybrid meeting, which means that some or all of the public body is meeting remotely and some are meeting physically in a previously noticed location where the public may attend to observe, listen, and participate contemporaneously. Please note that while we will strive to provide means for those attending remotely to participate in the public comment period, there may be technical difficulties or reasons that otherwise prevent or interrupt remote public participation. Therefore, it is important to note that open meeting law only ensures the public's right to participate and comment at a public meeting by attending at the designated physical location as posted in the notice and the agenda. If a member of the public is having difficulty connecting, please let one of us know in the space. We will do our very best to reconnect you. Nevertheless, this meeting will continue as posted. We are up to the consent agenda. If we need to pull anything at this point, we should do it now, or certainly before we come to that point, so that we can approve the consent agenda in one motion. With regard to the consent agenda, the minutes of May 26, 2026, has in the parking lot, January 13, board goals and the task force review, update on those. We've already had that discussion as of May 12th.
Okay.
So at this point, there is nothing in the parking lot. How delightful. Yes.
Not a requested change to the minutes, but I'm wondering if in future, I think the correct usage is motions are moved. So an individual moves such and such, not motions such and such. The minutes of late have been indicating so-and-so motioned to, and I think the correct usage is moved to.
Move to, okay, all right, thank you, right. And if, because of bad habits, if I forget, you will alert us, all right. In reference to yesterday, something came up, and I was looking at the minutes of May 12th regarding district quality standards and education quality standards. We agreed on that day that Deborah, Kim, and Matt would work with Mark on the rubrics for evaluation. We agreed on that day. So it had come up yesterday, and I think most of us drew a blank on it. Right, okay. Anything from anyone else having to do with the minutes? Okay, moving on. Any amendments to the agenda as posted? All right, moving on. I want, it's sort of out of place right now, but I expected a full house of administrators here. And I just wanted to, on the record, thank everyone for the work that took place yesterday, as well as to thank the entire board for being present. Everyone worked very hard, and I want to get that formal. There's a spot on the agenda to go back to the events of yesterday, but as Way leads on to Way, I'm likely to forget to say thank you. I also want to acknowledge to all the administrators present and board members that as of the conclusion of this meeting, we are taking a break in July. And so that's what this meeting, as this meeting concludes, that's where we will be. So again, thank you to everyone for, I guess this is a sense of the school year, the academic year coming to an end for a really powerful, fast-moving year. Student matters, that's what we're up to. Student matters. Are there any students online who would like to offer comment on non-agenda items or on anything? I don't see any students. So we are going to move to public comment on non-agenda items. This is a time for the board and for administrators to listen and to take notes. If appropriate, the board and administration will work on next steps. So we'll give it a minute for hands on non-agenda items. Okay, I don't see any hands up. As per the agenda, we are going to go into executive session. Is there a motion to
Point of order?
point of order? I'm sorry. Yeah, I just skipped over. We could have been in the reverse. Okay, yes, you're absolutely right. Point of order, by all means.
It's approval of PreK is next on the agenda, is that?
That's correct.
Okay.
And that is not the executive session. Thank you. Approval of PreK contracts for universal PreK partners. Carrie Beebe, you have the floor.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna do the list that we have for today to be signed, and there likely will be a couple more towards the end of the summer too. But here's our list for today.
Can I ask, before you
Yes.
go through that list, why are we doing this at this time?
Sure.
And then we can talk about, you can go through the list, because I think with the conclusion of the list, I'd like to open it up to a motion.
Sure.
Okay,
Yes, we do it this is our agreements go from August 1st of 2026 to August 1st, 2027. So it's the timing where at the end of the year where we get all the contracts signed, so we're ready for the new school year. Unfortunately, there were a couple of our partners who were not able to get their signed documents, whether it's because there was an administrator not able to sign it or not. So we wanted to go through with this list because it's the majority of them.
okay,
Okay,
thank you,
awesome.
thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
And so what Carrie Beebe is going to read is a list of all the pre-K contracts that she has in hand right now. And there will be, I'm gonna ask for a motion. And with approval of the motion, we need to take a moment for the chair and the clerk to sign every contract on the assumption that the motion is approved.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
All right, thanks so much. Okay, so Brattleboro Center for Children, Horizon Early Learning Program East, or Horizon Early Learning Program West, Hilltop Montessori School, Neighborhood Schoolhouse, Miss Martha's Creative Early Learning Program, the Pumpkin Patch, the Grammar School, Timson Hill Preschool, Westby Nursery School, the Winston Prouty Center for Child Development, Early Education Services, and the Garland School. So that's our list for today.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank you for approval of these pre-K sites as read by Carrie Beebe. Okay. Discussion?
Just a note, it's fabulous the way that we can partner with private providers to get kids some some pre-K education prior to coming in, and I think Carrie's done a great job to help coordinate that and ensure that the kids coming in are coming in, strong.
I think it's wonderful. It really establishes a foundation for our district as the kids move through elementary school. And the list has grown incredibly in a very short period of time. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the motion passes, and at this point, the clerk and the chair need to sign. And would you give half to the clerk so that?
Yep.
And then, right, thanks. Peter, would you move the camera, please? Put it on somebody else. That's all I want. You'll make sure that we find everyone. Yeah, thanks. Okay. All right, thanks. All right, so we are moving on to the next order of business, which is there a motion to enter into executive session under 1 V.S.A. 313A7, the academic records or suspension or discipline of students?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, discussion. Inviting in Carrie Beebe, Mark Spino, and Stacy Sawyer. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. We are going into executive session. Okay, we have risen from executive session, and I would like to entertain a motion to support the recommendation of administration in regard to student A.
So moved. Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I would entertain a motion to support the recommendation of administration with regard to student B.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, we are moving on with the agenda to board matters. Leadership Council updates. Okay, moving on. Are there any board subcommittee updates? Brian, yes, thank you.
So the Social Justice and Programmatic and Performance Equity Committee met. So I'll just very briefly tell you highlights. So we discovered that identified that there are several possible issues we would be exploring in the future, including the equity of transportation that's available for after-school activities, particularly at the middle and high school levels. Also noting that we need to pay strict attention as a committee to the budget development process to ensure that that equity is built into our budgets from the very beginning. Another issue that arose was what sorts of equity there are between middle schools, the 3 middle schools, in terms of readiness that students have for high school. And our tasks going forward have to do with, first of all, we're going to have regular meetings on the last Thursday of each month. We're going to review our mission statement, since we're combining the social justice and the programmatic and performance equity committees, and compare those existing mission statements side by side and craft something that includes the work of both of them. And we also took on the suggestion to become more proactive rather than reactive as a committee, and particularly in terms of the social justice types of issues. So that would involve things such as creating a list of baseline programs or resources or opportunities that we want to have available for all students. And that would help us prioritize the assessment of equity across schools. And so that's basically what we discussed.
Okay, all right, and just for everyone's information, those minutes are online as well. Okay. Moving on, are there any other subcommittee updates?
The Communications Council, but they're
I'm gonna,
itemized there, so
yes, I'm right.
Okay.
So give us one moment. Any other subcommittee updates? Okay, any SU updates?
No.
All right, now, it's a little truncated here, Communications Subcommittee, and there are a couple of things coming out of that committee. Ruby.
So the first one that's linked in the agenda is a press release, and I wanted to just acknowledge that I just double checked it and saw that there are comments in it, and as a general practice, I think it'd be good for us to resolve the comments. I believe the comments that are there are resolved. They had to do with quotes, just confirming quotes from individuals, but that will be cleaned up before it's done. So essentially that press release came from after the last summit. Brian made a suggestion around sharing with the public some of the results that we were seeing, and particularly carrying forth a sense of appreciation and pride in the accomplishments that we're seeing. So Brian drafted a press release, and I worked to kind of formulate that into the format that we normally put forward. I actually didn't double check, but what happens then is that we submit it to Mo Hart. She puts it on letterhead and gets it out to media outlets, and then I would put it on social media. And presumably there is a very good chance that that particular press release could be grabbed by the Reformer or the Commons and made into an article, or they would utilize that for their creation of an article. So I appreciate Brian putting this forward and doing the work of writing, because we are so slim on the Communications Council, so it's really appreciated.
And it's just a moment to celebrate the hard work in this district. So it's an excellent statement.
That's great.
Yeah. My understanding is the two quotations in here, one Mark Spino and the other Ann Beekman, have been approved by both individuals.
Yep.
There's just one more query, and that is in the beginning of the second paragraph, where it says 6 of the 8 schools, and you have a margin question,
Yep.
Ruby, is it 8 or 9 schools?
Right.
Do you know if that's been resolved or
No,
not?
I do.
Okay.
I assume that that's something we can work out with you, Mark.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so.
And we can just make the edit.
Okay, would you please?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, is there a motion to approve the press release as linked in the agenda?
So moved.
Seconded?
Okay, discussion. All right, so with confirmation of 8 or 9 schools, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, press release is approved. Thank you very much. This is great. And may media pick it up?
Yes.
Yes, and hopefully social media as well. All right, the next item has to do with the community survey that was sent out. I'm wondering what the status of that is.
So our plan had been to the survey that went out to the community, which was related to two-way communication between the board and the public. It closed at the end of May, and our intention was to meet as a communications council to review and kind of process those that data to make a presentation at this meeting. And we had a communication council meeting and no one came but me. And so
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I'm sorry.
It's very sad.
No.
Because it's the end of the, it is an
No, we know,
impossible
we know,
time.
we know.
It's hard.
Yes.
So I
Okay.
took that time in that meeting and reviewed the data myself. 139 individuals responded. I don't think it makes sense to share, details around what those results were until we are able to kind of get together. I've done some of that, thinking myself, but I can't do it alone.
Right.
So my recommendation that I put forward in an email to the Communications Council and we can set an agenda is to do that work over the summer and have a presentation in August.
Okay.
So because we're going to be taking a pause in July. And so my assumption is that if August isn't the right time, if August is too busy, you will there's no extreme urgency, but the longer we let this sit, the longer someone says, wait, didn't I do something? Where's the results? So I do think it's important for us to acknowledge that we're just putting a pause and when we will pick it back up.
Got it. So noted.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to move on to the next item. And so I have a suggestion, a way of discussing yesterday's admin board retreat. We had talked about index cards and asking for individuals to write candidly to a couple of issues. So I'm going to give out index cards right now, moving around the room, and
Do you have pens?
no.
Does anyone
I'm
have
so
a
sorry.
I live in a different world.
We're gonna need more if we're gonna build anything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you don't have enough?
No, if you're gonna
Oh,
build
to
it.
build. Oh. Ruby, here we got one. Ruby has one. Anyone else need Is anyone else lacking a writing utensil in coming into this space? Okay, so here are my prompts. One is, number one, what went well for you yesterday? The second prompt, can I give you both of them at the same time?
Are there
Okay.
just two?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
What missed the mark for you yesterday? And as part of that, questions, suggestions for the future. And this is anonymous, so please don't put your name. Thank you. So I have all of them? Great. So let's just open it up and for comment about yesterday.
Well, I'd like to say I'm sorry I missed it.
Well, that's a great beginning. Thank you. Thank you. We missed you. I just want to say it was a very interesting day to laugh and to engage in different kinds of ways with colleagues in this district. There was a lot of building and deconstructing in many ways. So as well as the hard work that we do, but it was a great way to spend a very rainy day. Matt.
Having the privilege of being on the board for now multiple years and seeing iterations of this retreat, I can see the progression year over year in our collaboration, in the efficacy of this meeting, And I'm very hopeful about where this meeting will continue to evolve. So I thought it was great.
Yes, Rich.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. Having such a diverse group of people there from all corners of the district, you know, how aligned everybody seemed to be. Like everybody serves a different role, but when you got into those small groups and you were kind of hashing out the different topics and whatnot, everybody really just kind of seemed to be on the same page. And I mean, that's very encouraging.
Anybody else? Ruby?
I really appreciated this retreat, and I felt like it was it felt like a very good kind of coming together of board and admin. And I agree with Matt. I think that this retreat's gotten better and better over the years. And so I think that that's definitely to be applauded. I think that I felt this was the first year that I felt a tie between the summit format and this kind of culminating, which I appreciated.
I agree with everything that has been said so far tonight. I thought it was a really great day. Could see that tie from the summit to the work yesterday as well. It just felt really collaborative. It felt really supportive. It felt student-centered, student-focused, and that's what I appreciate more than anything.
Paul?
For me, the pacing, the movement, the thoughtfulness about what pieces fit together were really impressive, especially since I've been on the other side of that, and I understand how much work it takes to make that happen and make it seem as seamless as it did. So real huge appreciation to the administration for putting that together and setting it up in a way that we could really efficiently move through stuff and get somewhere, not just yak about stuff.
Brian?
I really enjoyed it also, and got a lot out of it, and felt like I was also able to contribute a lot. And as to build on what Paul said, I thought that there was a really good balance of small group work and whole group work, as well as not always the same small groups. So that really furthered a lot of dialogue and relationship building that wouldn't have happened otherwise. I would go again.
I think that something that I wanted to make sure I noted is, and this is related to the work we did at the last summit and also came up at this retreat. I really very much appreciated the evolution of the CIP goals and how they were presented consistently across schools. So there was a format. I loved some of the graphic formats that had been presented the year prior, but this was functionally easy to go between. And it made it, we made a jump in this retreat to, you only heard from a small cohort of schools. So I was in a group and I had to trust that all of my peers were hearing everything else and they had it in hand. And I feel like because of having received information at the summit and also having a great deal of trust in my peers, that felt okay. And I think part of it is understanding from school to school how those similarities in terms of how the CIPs are presented.
I want to echo that. I think doing the work of the CIP beforehand in the summit was excellent.
Yeah.
So that we went into the retreat not having that task in front of us. We were free of that. I was particularly intrigued with the so-called game of is it a smart or is it a schmark? Not what I was about to say. But so because it's like, whoa, wait a minute, that went so quickly. I was losing my marbles at times and falling prey to some of the traps. I thought that was excellent. I think we still need to work on the arrangement of people in this space. We were pretty far away from each other, but we were also a large group of people. But one of the issues is when you're in that line, you can't see. So last year, there were, I think, 2 or 3 big tables, and then there were round tables all around the room. You know, we have to tweak that space. And it would be any space. It's, we would just get a big hall and it doesn't matter where we are.
Right.
Right. So it's that. For me, when we came to working on the calendar, I do better, my head does better when I'm working from a rough draft. And what I was craving was this year's calendar in front of me.
Yeah.
To actually have something moving parts as against, having the whole thing explode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and looking at the topics of the presentations. So maybe we could have that as an option next year.
Yep.
Right. I think one of the things that I particularly like about this process is how the moving parts, the dynamism of it. From we're going to Lake Maury, and where we had an outside facilitator, and since then it has just moved to something that's really very interesting, and will get better and better and better. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that the Curriculum and Assessment Office has the brunt of this in terms of thinking about the audience, the space, the exercises. I thought the exercise of creating the Tower of Babel, and how much can we put on it? And then watching it fall, I felt like a little kid. It was like, it's a little bit of breath, and is it going to come down? Very, very interesting. And there was one that was so, the engineering of it, I'm looking at one of the individuals at that table, the engineering of it, of your tower, was brilliant.
Well, in all fairness, we did fail. That was a revision.
Full disclosure.
Well, you see, that's the fun of it. That's the fun of it. Yes.
Failure leads to learning.
What did you say?
Failure leads to learning.
Yes, that's right. We did not fail, did we?
We didn't learn anything either.
And that's what the day was about real good cheer. It was great.
So nice way to end the year.
Yeah, it really was. Yes, it really, really was. Yeah. So let's take a break and let's come back at 7:15, okay? And we'll finish up the evening. We're still under Board Matters, letter D, update on legislative issues related to education. H955 is now known as Act 170. It was signed by Scott on June 18. And with the next agenda for August, I think it's August 10, I will attach the legislation having to do with Act 170. We have a number of deadlines that we need to comply with. Having to do with our board. By September 15, we have to designate at least one current school board member to serve on the assigned merger committee. And it also indicates that if this designated board members, if their term of office expires, we would have to designate a new board member. So I would think with that in mind, we want to consider our dates, our terms of office, and the requirement that the merger committee is going to present a final report on September 1, 2027. So I would think we'd want that continuity of board members being in place. And again, it says at least one, so let's be generous there. There are also other stipulations having to do with the various districts on this merger committee, and my understanding is that it is the superintendent who convenes this committee and starts it going. Have individuals had a chance to take a look at this information at these dates?
I have.
And what this means, right, okay. There is another component to this, and that has to do with CESA, the Cooperative Education Service Area Board. Do you want to talk to that, Ann?
Yeah. We are required by July 18th to appoint someone from the SU, not the SD, to represent our board on the new CESA. The CESA looks extremely encompassing to me. And I'm gonna call it a fake merger because that's what it is. So, but that's a different timeline from the actual merger board. And that the CESA board will be called to order by August 2nd by our superintendent, because he is the superintendent with the largest ADM. I'm looking at the CESA, Paul, I see your face, but I'm looking at this, the CESA board. We have a representative currently of BOCES, but this is the way it's so encompassing so many services. It looks like it's intended to be a de facto merger. There we go. So yeah, those dates are, and I've got this directly from the V.S.A as well as from the legislation. A single representative from our supervisory union must be appointed by July 18th, which is a Saturday. So.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. So is the Vermont Learning Collaborative Board dissolving and being reconstituted? No,
they're gonna handle it differently. And the Vermont Learning Collaborative, I believe, is going to be organizing the facilitators of the merger committees.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But the Vermont Learning Collaborative, I believe, will be involved with the CESA.
But I thought the Vermont Learning Collaborative was our CESA.
The BOCES have been dissolved in favor of a new formulation called a CESA. There are 7 of them in the state. They have indicated which supervisory unions and school districts are members of which we are part of Group 5, which is sort of to our west. And it is specifically required to find a way to share services in special education, curriculum, business, transportation, professional development. I can't remember all of them, but all of the functions that our SU is currently actually responsible for, we are required, and the other districts and supervisory meetings will be required to try and form a cooperative situation to share those services.
I thought the legislation identified Vermont Learning Collaborative as our regional whatever they're called, CSID.
As far as I know, they are going to be directly involved with the merger activity, the merger discussions, as opposed to the cooperative education service areas, which will happen merger or no mergers. And our supervisory union is required to provide a representative. And it will be similar to what we've already started with the BOCES, but we really hadn't moved very far with that, so this will be terra incognito as we move forward.
So currently Tate Erickson serves as on that board and has been for, since the creation of it.
Yes, it is now a body politic, however.
What's that?
It is now a body politic. That is a specific thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that I am actually comfortable with a member of our staff serving on a body politic, but we can have that discussion at the SU board meeting that I've been attempting to schedule, but you haven't answered your email.
It does say, the piece that I see about facilitators, each facilitator, there will be 7 of them with one lead facilitator. Each facilitator will be assigned to a CSA region and will support merger committees studying the formation of unified union school districts. The lead facilitator will coordinate and oversee the work of the regional facilitators. There's a budget associated with this.
Primarily to pay the facilitators.
Yes, Ruby.
I'm gonna ask a question that belies how foggy I am about this particular point. Can you confirm for me or articulate, so I think what I'm hearing is this work that you're talking about, these committees, these conversations are supposed to happen essentially over the summer, and in the fall is when what happens? I guess I'm not understanding the timeline of what we're talking about. I'm losing
I
the
think
thread.
there are 2 timelines going on
Yeah,
here. One is CSA and
one is
the merger committees.
Okay,
But CSA oversees the merger committees.
okay,
All right, so for us, the SD board, we need to determine by September 15
okay,
who the board members
okay.
will be on the merger committee. And by October 15, regional facilitators will establish merger committees. So there are a lot of moving parts here. I don't know who the facilitators are. I think they are looking to hire right now a lead facilitator, and who that person will be is, there's a job description out there.
They meaning the Agency of Education. Who's
No,
they?
the Vermont Learning Collaborative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
CSA, or
right,
the whatever.
right. But the AOE needs to work in concert with these merger committees so that we have appropriate data, correct data. And in addition, these districts that have been assigned, as Ann says, we're group 5, there will be movement from group 4 or 6 into group 5, where people are, but as long as we share a boundary with another district, that movement can take place. Anyway, the law is out, it runs over 100 pages. I think it behooves us to read it. Paul?
I think we also at least need to discuss whether we want to be part of another merger committee,
Right.
because that is an option. I think it's more likely for smaller SUs to be considering that, but it's put out there as an option.
Right.
A district may join a different merger committee if the majority of its school board votes to do so.
Right. Which means we need to look at these groupings. Ruby.
So I've looked at the groupings.
Yes.
And I see no other group that would make sense in my mind.
Mhm.
And I think that when we move forward in this, there's a significant amount of collective trauma around the Act 46 study committees. That was a big endeavor, and the resolution of it didn't feel good, and still doesn't feel good to many people. But I'm trying my best to think about this as independently as I can, and I reviewed the big document and tried my best to read it without flipping out about something that happened many years ago. So with that in mind, I think that it feels to me like we've been told, hey, you gotta, assign someone by X date, and we gotta do that thing. And in my thinking, the grouping that we are in does make sense. There are some towns and things on the outskirts of that,
Right.
that I could see them having conversations that are very real about, do we want to jump to a different district? But we are really solidly in the right place in my mind.
Well, we have the numbers, that's for sure. Okay, and I can see where perhaps a different school district might want to come into Group 5 because of what's going on between their school district and our school district. It doesn't make sense that they would be someplace else. But I think all of those conversations need to take place pretty quickly. And, right. So, our next meeting, I think, to be more precise, I think the date is August 11. I think at that time, we should entertain motions for board members to be on the merger committee. And it's in the dark. I don't even know what the time commitment is, right? So we're opting to do something with our eyes shut. Nevertheless, we are a strong board, we're outspoken, and we need to be a presence in this. Okay, so that's gonna be a big piece of August 10. Yes,
Liz Adams, I know.
I'm sorry, Liz, I didn't see your hand. Liz,
Hang on, I got it.
So-
There we go.
okay. Hi, Liz.
Just sort of thinking about what Ruby said, the trauma from Act 46 that still lingers in many people's minds, and following this whole legislative process, I think they're barking up the wrong tree yet again. The mergers did not save much money across the state at all, like they were supposed to. If you did merge with somebody else, we have people who work like in central office full time. So does Windham Northeast. Those people are still going to be needed. Just because you got a bigger district doesn't mean you're going to have less people who need to work in finance or this, that, and the other. So I think, just keeping in mind that they're barking up the wrong tree again, and keep that in mind, whoever serves on these committees, because I don't see it. I don't see, uh, you might get rid of some superintendents, but then you're going to need an assistant superintendent or you're going to have an ineffective superintendent. So I just think people should go into it with their eyes wide open. Um, Act 46 was a disaster in terms of the state respecting us. But because all of our we were forced to merge, so all of our towns went into it with a mindset of keeping our community schools. And the board has worked really well. Really pleased with new members on the board who get it. So I just want people to keep that in mind.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you. Thank you. I think that's in support of what Ruby just said. I would like to move on because I think we have a lot of questions. I think we need to do some reading. I don't see how July is really time off. We have got work to do to make sure, as Liz says, that our eyes are wide open and that we go into these committees ready to work and collaborate with our eyes wide open. Ruby.
I just wanted to put out, particularly to our board leadership, that I would appreciate some behind the scenes work in advance of the August meeting to talk to individuals on our board who, to gauge interest and encourage interest, because I don't want us to show up in August and have silence of I don't know, because there are so many unknowns, and there is a considerable kind of brain trust here. So how do we make sure we tap and match the best people for who have the capacity?
Believe me, that conversation has already begun.
Okay.
Not initiated by me,
Okay.
but people have already said, "Hey, I want to be part of this."
Okay, great.
So instead of my making phone calls, could you get in touch with me, right? As you have interest in this, and right.
Sounds good.
Okay. July? July is not a holiday. Yes, Matt.
Well, and I think, as you said it before, we're in this together. So although it's a minimum of one,
Oh,
I think as long as we are not entering quorum territory,
that's it.
I think the strength is in our numbers and
That's
our
right.
collective wisdom.
That's
So
right.
I would just encourage folks that, if you know of another colleague that might be interested, it does not preclude you from participating.
Right.
Join in.
But we cannot be a quorum. Right. And the whole issue of quorum has come up with how these merger committees are going to be established. And then there was a whole lot of legal stuff going on at one point, and my head was spinning. So I just saw a quorum, and I understand that.
And there needs to be awareness around not having a quorum for the SU as well. Yeah, right.
Well, the SU only sent one representative to the CISA, but I don't think that it would count if we were there representing
The SD.
But if you're,
Yeah, let's table this for now.
yes,
Let's table this. That we can
It's-
always research and figure out.
Right.
Okay, but they've got to give in some way, really. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Right. Administrative report. Mark.
All right, start with 2 resignations. Shannon Kelly as Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Coach, and Christina Cologne Bratt as Librarian of Green Street School.
All right, is there a motion to accept these resignations?
So moved with regret.
Seconded.
Discussion with regret.
Green Street School is definitely gonna miss Miss Chrissy. She was very well loved.
Uh-huh, okay. Just with regret. So, all those in favor with regret, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, Mark.
Okay, 4 new hires. Aaron Lee Jones as a construction instructor at the Career Center. Michelle Hood, health careers at the Career Center. Chris Hodgson, math coach at the Career Center. And Shannon Kelly, going back as librarian at Green Street School.
I move to accept these recommendations.
Second, all right, discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Just to let the board know, we received this folder with this information just a few minutes, just maybe an hour or so before this meeting. Okay,
All right, that's all I have for tonight.
okay, great. And I'm assuming we do not have a fiscal report this evening.
No.
Okay, we are moving on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Seconded.
Discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Consent agenda is approved. All right, we're moving on to unfinished business. The Policy and Amendment Committee presents for adoption E20 Asthma-Friendly Schools. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Sorry, second. And discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Asthma-friendly schools, brand new policy, is approved. Is there a motion to support readoption of G4, selection of library materials?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, I want to say from the policy committee, it was a pleasure to work with key individuals in our district on both of these policies. It was great. It was great work, long, hard hours. All right, and in terms of new business, Policy and Amendment Committee presents for a first reading E11, Federal Child Nutrition Act Wellness Policy, and F44, Cell Phone Use in Schools. So this is for a first reading. It'll come up for a second reading in August. All right. We are coming to the point in the meeting where we have 2 executive sessions, and we will take them one at a time. The first one, is there a motion to enter into executive session under 1 V.S.A. 313A7, the academic records or suspension or discipline of students, inviting in Mark Spino?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thanks. We are moving into executive sessions, and then we will come out, vote, and go back in. All right. So we have risen from executive session. Is there a motion to approve the Darrow Scholarship as discussed by this board?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Is there a motion to enter into executive session under 1 V.S.A. 313A7, the academic records or suspension or discipline of students, inviting in Mark Spino, Hannah Parker, and so be it.
So moved.
Seconded.
Discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, we are going into executive session. Action anticipated. So, we have risen from executive session. Is there a motion to accept the board's recommendation for the two student representatives to the board for the academic year 26-27?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, is there any other business for this evening?
Madam Chair, there being no further business before this board, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We are adjourned at 8:10.